Good afternoon. This is Mike Houston with the National Weather Service with your Friday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. Looking at satellite imagery this morning, we see a low-pressure system working its way through the Great Basin to the east, with moisture rotating up into southeast Idaho. And then further off to the north and west, a fairly deep low-pressure system here across the northeast Pacific with what looks to be a fairly impressive little shortwave moving through the base of that trough towards the northwest coast. Looking at radar imagery here this morning, we do see areas of precipitation with lighter showers moving into southeast Idaho. Highlights for today, we do have a flood watch out for the lower elevations of southeast Idaho here, basically the foothills of both the southeast highlands and the central mountains, where we could see appreciable snow melt and rain on snow today through Sunday. Looking at our forecast charts for today, we see that low pressure system exiting east out of Utah into Colorado. We still have some precipitation expected to accumulate through the day. This particular model, I'll call it model number 1, is expecting about a quarter to a half inch of accumulation here along the Utah border, and some pockets of a quarter of an inch up here near Mackey and Mud Lake area. Generally down in the Snake River Plain, less than a tenth of an inch. Snow levels through the day today expected to be about 5,500 feet this morning, rising up to 6,500 feet or so this afternoon. So most of the areas down here in the valley probably won't see much in the way of any type of snow. I wanted to show you the variations in the models that we get to see here. So this is model number 2 for today, and it's showing 3/4 of an inch of precipitation here across the southeast highlands, and possibly a quarter of an inch of precipitation sneaking out into the Snake River Plain near Idaho Falls, and once again about a quarter of an inch up here near Mackey. Daytime temperatures today expected to run in the upper 40s to mid 50s here in the Snake River Plain, so no snow down here. But if you get up into the central mountains and eastern highlands, the temperatures generally running in the upper 30s to mid 40s. Here's our snow graphic for the totals for today. Nothing down here in the Snake River Plain, maybe 1 to 3 inches here in the central mountains, upwards of 4 inches here down along the northern Wasatch and across the southeast highlands. Jumping to our forecast charts for Saturday, and the precipitation that I'm showing here is a 24-hour accumulation, so tonight through Saturday. You can see model number 1 here is depicting about a quarter of an inch running from Driggs across the north up towards Salmon, a Chalice region, and some lighter amounts down here in the lower Snake River Plain and southern highlands. Looking at model number 2, we see a similar area of stronger precipitation running from Driggs up through Chalice, Salmon region, and lighter amounts down towards the southern highlands. I did forget to mention that snow levels again tonight falling to about 5,500 feet, but then during the day Saturday rising to about 7,000 feet because we have this next low pressure system approaching the region. Looking at overnight lows for Saturday morning, I just wanted you to get a feel for those areas that may continue to see melting snow, and certainly through the Snake River Plain from Rexburg, Idaho Falls, Pocatello on down to Burley. These regions probably don't have much snow as it is now, but some of these outlying areas here where we see temperatures in the mid-30s may still continue to see snow melt going overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. Daytime highs on Saturday generally running again in the upper 40s to mid-50s in the Snake River Plain, and upper 30s and 40s here in the central mountains and southeast highlands. Snow accumulations for tonight through Saturday, again, not too impressive. Generally 1 to 3 inches here in the central mountains, similar amounts here across the southeast highlands. Here we are showing a graphic that's the modeled snow melt for the period ending Saturday evening. And the areas of orange are showing the places where we could see the best areas of melting snow, and that happens to coincide with the areas that we have the flood watch out for. Advancing our snow graphics now to Sunday. Again, the total precipitation here is a 24-hour period of accumulation. So Saturday night through Sunday, we are expecting the bulk of this precipitation to fall Saturday night. You can see some fairly impressive accumulations here in model number 1 up near McCall, but the tail end of that stuff coming conspicuously close to the Stanley Basin area with a quarter to a half inch, and then, like I said, an inch of accumulation just off to the north and west of that region. Generally lighter amounts down here in the Snake River Plain, about a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch across the southeast highlands. That was model number 1. Snow levels ranging Sunday morning from about 5,000 feet to 6,500 feet in the afternoon, so steady or cooling during the day. And here we are looking at model number 2, a similar depiction with the best precipitation up into McCall, the Boise Mountains, bordering the Central Mountains here of about a half inch to 3/4 of an inch, and lighter amounts across the heart of southeast Idaho. Overnight lows on Sunday, still pretty warm down here in the Snake River Plain, so enough to keep any snow in these regions melting. Certainly cold enough in the mountainous areas to slow or inhibit melting, with temperatures dropping down into the mid-teens to mid-20s. Daytime highs on Sunday should be a little cooler than we've seen, mid-40s to lower 50s, and generally in the 30s to lower 40s here in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. Snow accumulations, expect to see a little better accumulations here, especially in the Central Mountains, where I was showing you those better accumulations from that model number 1 particularly. But here we are looking at snow accumulations, generally 2 to 6 inches in the Central Mountains. At higher elevations, you get into the Stanley Basin, Ketchum area, 1 to 2 inches possibly, and certainly lighter amounts as you work down into the Southeast Highlands. Might even see some accumulation here in the Snake River Plain Sunday morning, but generally less than an inch. Advancing now to Monday, we see that storm system lifting off to the north and east. Another storm system taking shape now off the coast, but for Sunday night into Monday, fairly clear and dry across the region. We won't see the leading edge of this precipitation working into the Central Mountains till late Monday afternoon. Daytime temperatures on Monday, generally running in the 50s here in the Snake River Plain and 40s in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. Here we are looking at the weather depiction now for Monday night into Tuesday, so that precipitation now is working up through the Central Mountains. One of the other models we have to look at has the precipitation a little further north and west, but worst case scenario here, some precipitation across the Central Mountains Tuesday. Snow levels generally running from 5,500 feet to 7,000 feet under this warm southwest flow. Looking at about a quarter of an inch in the upslope regions of the Central Mountains. Once you get into the interior valleys, dropping off to about 1/100th, so not too impressive. Daytime highs on Tuesday generally running in the mid-50s to around 60 down here in the eastern Magic Valley. And in the Central Mountains, generally in the upper 30s and 40s, and lower 50s here across the southeast highlands, so fairly warm. Advancing to Wednesday, we continue to see that nice moist flow across the Central Mountains, but I did want to point out there is a fairly significant disturbance now moving in through Northern California. It's going to be lifting up into the region. So out ahead of that here on Wednesday afternoon, we expect another warm, toasty day. Highs in the 50s, probably closing in on 60 down here in the eastern Magic Valley. And in the Central Mountains, squarely in the 40s. And upper 40s here across the southeast highlands. Overnight lows going into Thursday morning, fairly warm, probably our warmest overnight lows here Thursday morning out ahead of that system, with readings generally in the mid to upper 30s here in the Snake River Plain and 20s here in the Central Mountains and southeast highlands. And then we have that system sweeping through here on Thursday. Lots of precipitation. You see the model is generating about 3/4 to an inch of liquid precipitation across the region. The bulk of that falling Wednesday night into Thursday. Snow levels now beginning to drop as this system moves by. So we should see snow levels by Thursday afternoon dropping to 5,500 feet. And then by the time we get to Friday, system well off to our east, we have a drier northwest flow spilling into the region. So we should see things drying out by Friday with snow levels below 4,500 feet for the most part. It's a lot going on. We have, like I said, just to recap, we have a flood watch out for a number of the lower basins across the region through Sunday. We are anticipating rain over the top of some snowmelt. So you want to keep abreast of what's going on there. We'll certainly issue warnings as they are warranted. If you have any additional questions or comments, please give us a call here at the number on the screen. Thank you.